Bhagavaram Samma Sambuddho Smargatoena Bhagavanta Dhammo Supatipanno Yasa Bhagavato Savaka Sambho Dhammayam Bhagavantam Sadhamam Sasanam Ime Sakare Yadara Aropite Apikuchayama Sadhuno Bhante Bhagava Sunjira Bharini Bhutopi Pajima Janatanu Gamba Manasa Ime Sakare Dugata Panaka Rapute Patikannato Amma Kandi Karata Yetaya Sukaya Aram Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhan Bhagavantan Abhivadin Smargato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sambho Sangham Namami Namayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Bhagavatanamagarangaro Masi Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So, very good. Very nice to see you all again. So please now everyone compose yourselves. Make sure you're sitting up well. Body and mind alert. And you close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you leave everything that you've been doing, thinking about, worrying about, all of it behind. You put it down and you leave it. And we commence by bringing to mind the Buddha, reminding ourselves of our great teacher and inspiration, recollecting his perfect mind, a mind that was quite free of any kind of defilement or obstruction, anything of that kind, all gone. And not just that, but far away, far distant from all of it. A mind, too, of infinite compassion, a quite incredible being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you recollect the Buddha, when you happen to see a Buddha Rupa, be inspired. Be inspired by that perfect, that pure mind, to do your best, to cultivate your mind, and clear your mind too of all greed, hatred, and delusion. And approach this task with a mind of loving kindness. Remember to be kind to yourself and to care for yourself and to appreciate and even rejoice in your merits and your good qualities. And at the same time, to be accepting of yourself. And of course, you do your best to be kind to others, caring of them too, and appreciate their good qualities, their merits, as well as accepting them for just who and what they are. Now take a moment to remind yourselves yet again of the nature of your human condition. We've been born, and we've been living this life, and as we've been doing that, time has been passing, and inevitably we have been growing older. And it's a process that doesn't stop. Day by day, even moment by moment, we are all of us aging. And while we're alive, at any moment, at any time, something can go wrong with us. We can catch something, some part of our body that we probably never knew existed, can break down, or we can meet with an accident. We are very vulnerable beings. And then whatever happens, whatever we do, sooner or later, every one of us will die. There will come a time when all of us will be dead and gone. And that's our human condition. And it's as well to face it and get used to it and understand it, and even to be free of it. But that needs some training of our mind. So we'll get on with that now. Make sure that you're still sitting well. And quite deliberately now, gather and concentrate your mind. And become mindful and aware of, first of all, your body. Your physical presence. And be aware of the space your body occupies and the shape it makes. And notice that however still you try to be, there is that slight movement of your breathing. You can feel your breathing. Somewhere, somehow, you're conscious of breathing in and breathing out. Now establish for yourself just where and how you perceive the breath. And keep your attention there now. And all you have to do now is to remain concentrated and mindful of each in-breath and each out-breath. And if there's any interval between the ending of the in-breath and the beginning of the out-breath, just stay there, just stay with it, and keep that connection. And the same for the ending of the out-breath and the beginning of the in-breath. Keep the connection. And be still. Remember that should you find your mind wandering, dreaming, thinking, obsessed with some ache or pain or discomfort, you must deal with it. You can't just leave it or indulge it. Just be aware of it, mindful of it, know it. That way you use it. You turn it to your advantage. And having looked at it, watched it, you let it go. And you find the breath again. And you concentrate afresh. But while you've watched it, and when you do this often enough, you see something of its nature. You see something of its changing and unsatisfactory nature. But then you let it go. And you concentrate your mind again. And concentrated, your mind becomes steady and firm. So please now, everyone, do your best to maintain your very excellent, still and silent sitting. But during the next few minutes while I'm talking, do your best to just listen. Now, the other night, I spoke a little bit about the refuges, the three refuges, taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. But you know, the Buddha also spoke of other things that we might go for refuge to, or to make our refuge. He referred to ourselves, to make a refuge of yourself, to make an island of yourself that no storm can overthrow. It means to be very steady and confident, and to recognize your responsibility. And furthermore, he spoke of karma or kamma being one's refuge. And here again, there is that sense of responsibility, being careful of what you say and what you do, taking responsibility for it, and of course endeavoring to do what is good, sensible, meritorious. And amongst those various deeds of merit, which include, of course, giving and keeping the precepts, is the practice of meditation, which is what you've been doing this evening. Now, meditation has been popular for quite a long time. There was a time when, in this country, you didn't hear much about it at all. But then it was taken up by various people, different forms of meditation, and it's over the years become very popular. But there are different approaches to meditation, and you have to be careful about this. You have to be careful to not sort of kind of flip and flop about between the two or between various kinds of practices. And recognize that there is a purpose. Understand there is a reason for our meditation practice. It's helpful when you sit to consider carefully what you're doing, what you're about to do. And some of you know I recommend asking of yourself 5 questions. And the first, of course, is asking yourself, what am I trying to do? And the answer that should come should be something along the lines of, I'm trying to cultivate my mind, I'm trying to concentrate my mind. I'm trying to bring my mind to a level of stillness. And then the next question should be, for whom or for what are you doing this? And the answer to that is, I'm doing this I'm trying to concentrate my mind for myself. This is for my benefit. Now, this is important because we're all of us, I suspect, used to being told that we should be doing things for other people. And there's a grave tendency to neglect one's own welfare. Of course, greed gets in the way, and people do want to do things to benefit their own wealth and so forth, but one's actual well-being, one's, if you want to call it, spiritual well-being, is often not thought much about. So here you're doing something for that, to help your peace of mind, to help you to be a better person. But then comes the next question, by what means? All right, you're going to cultivate your mind, even concentrate your mind, and you're going to do this for yourself, to benefit yourself. But how? And here you have the technique, the practice that you are committed to. And this is important because, of course, people do mess about doing first this kind of practice and then that kind of practice. And, oh, this is so enjoyable and this is very peaceful and so forth. And they get nowhere. And it's often the case that doing whatever practice you do, you hit some obstacle or other. And so you give that up and you do something else. This is being compared to a person who goes out into his field and starts digging in search of water. He gets a little way down, hits a rock, gives up, goes somewhere else in his field, digs away, hits gravel, bit difficult. So he stops there and tries another place. And so it goes on until by the end of the day, he's got a field full of holes and no water. So you have your technique. What we've been doing here this evening, mindfulness of breathing, anapanasati. It's a technique, a practice taught by the Buddha. And it involves doing your best to be mindful of each in-breath and mindful of each out-breath. And of course, when you do this practice, you feel better, your mind becomes more concentrated, and inevitably, you cultivate an awareness of the nature of your breath. So it's a practice that has many benefits. But you don't need to think about that. All you need to do is to do your best to keep your mind on your breathing in and your breathing out. But then comes another question, and an important one. Against what resistance? Now, it's important to know, whatever you do, your resistances, to know the enemy, to know what you have to work against and overcome. So the resistances to your practice can, of course, vary. Some people will say, well, it's the posture. Sitting like this is painful and difficult. And the answer to that, of course, is practice a bit more, and you'll get more and more used to it. Posture is important. The way that we sit, the way that we hold ourselves does affect our state of mind. So if you are sloppy, then it's likely your mind will be sloppy. But on the other hand, if you sit too rigidly, then your mind will be affected. And that's not so good either. You have to find a balance. But then also, there are what the Buddha called the hindrances. That craving for pleasure. Sometimes it'll be anger. Sometimes your mind just doesn't want to know. And surprise, surprise, you just want to sleep. Your mind is just dull. Doesn't want to know about concentrating or meditating in the least. And then there are other occasions when it's just all over the place and won't stop. But worst of all, I think, is doubt. And that leads to indecision. And that leads to this messing about, doing 101 different practices. So be aware. Just be conscious of what your difficulty is likely to be. Don't look for it, but know what might happen. And be ready for it. Ready for that enemy. So you can deal with it. If it is drowsiness, sleepiness, then make sure you're sitting up well. And when the slightest sign of that appears, be on it, mindful, aware, energizing yourself, not letting it take hold of you. But then we come to the greatest question of all. You know what you're doing. You know who you're doing it for. You know the means, the technique that you're using. You're aware of the enemies. Okay? So what is this all about? In order to what are you doing this? What is your super objective? And this is what makes our practice so very special. We're not doing it to just get over some trivial ache or pain or feeling a bit low or whatever. We're doing this to cleanse our minds, to overcome our ignorance, to free ourselves utterly of our suffering, to realize for ourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Now, of course, the critics will say, isn't this a bit selfish? But when you're in a good state, when you're a truly fit person, aren't you a great benefit? Wasn't the Buddha a tremendous benefit to the world? While you are subject to greed, hatred, and delusion, what is your effect? So do your best to practice well and to recognize that this is a most marvelous thing to be doing. The very best thing that you can be taking up in this life. And that's enough from me for now. We'll sit for just a moment or two longer. And as usual, in these closing moments, please cultivate a mind of loving kindness. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free of all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Very nice to see you all again. I hope you have a good week and we'll meet again soon.